Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Clifford Berger, and I help men rebrand themselves for success in midlife. I have a blog and a website, and I call it A Seasoned Life. You can read it there and read my resources at cliffordberger.com. I am presenting some of that content in YouTube videos right now, developing it that way, and so I'm doing a little series on why I compare our lives to the seasons of the year and kind of to the agricultural rhythms. So that's what these last couple of videos have been on when I discussed spring and then in the last video, the season of summer. And so in this one, we're going to be looking at the season of autumn or fall and how that compares to the seasons of the year and what we can be aware of and be thinking about if we happen to be either in that season of autumn or if you're somebody who may still be in summer but are looking ahead to preparing for that season. So that's the focus here. And when we think about any of the seasons, as I pointed out, they tend to have an early phase and a later phase. So with autumn, with fall, that early fall, it would be say late September and then full autumn, let's say October. Um, at least according to the calendar, it shifts to fall late September, but sometimes, depending on where you live, it might still feel a little bit like summer then. But by October, it's full autumn, and this might be the season of life if we're comparing it to our lifespans and the transitions that we move through that could be considered like our 50s and our 60s. Okay, that earlier phase of the autumn. And when we think about fall, for a lot of us, at least myself, for a lot of people, fall is a favorite time of the year. Actually, I think October may be my favorite month. It's a break from the heat of the summer. I don't really like heat. And so fall weather with the cool air and the clear skies and lower heat and humidity tends to be just a nice, refreshing break. It's a time for kind of long walks and enjoying, leaning into the season, reflecting back on the successes of the season just past. And so it is in our lives when we think about um, the autumn of life, the fall. Say if you're in your 50s, your 60s, um, there's quite a bit of life that's already behind you. You have learned and lived throughout the earlier seasons. You have experience to draw from and to reflect back on. There's a lot to celebrate and to feel good about that. You've gained some perspective, not only from the successes and the joys, but also from the challenges. And you can bring that perspective to bear to help others who may be a step or two behind you. So that autumn, that fall season is a time for enjoyment, leaning into and enjoying uh, the blessings and the successes of what's just been passed, while looking ahead to the season of the later fall. Now, if we think about that, that might be more like the month of November. And if we compare that to the seasons of our lives, think maybe the 70s, late 60s and 70s would be like the November of the year, if you want to put it that way. This is later fall when there's still color, because in October, part of what we experience is that shift from summer into a new season, and with that comes not only a change in the weather, but also the way things look. The colors on the trees are spectacular, and we enjoy those. But that is a reminder that things are about to change. Those colors are representative in some ways of decline and decay. And sometimes the colors are most brilliant right before the leaves fall. All right, and so by November we start to see them fall. The colors do start to diminish, and the leaves fall from the trees. Usually by the end of November, most of the leaves are down. So November is a little bit of a mix. It has some of the blessings and the good things of the fall season, but it's also a time when we begin to anticipate a bit of winter. We know that there's change coming, and we can start to prepare for that. But November is a time when we typically share in Thanksgiving and kind of celebration of much of the year just past. Actually, from Thanksgiving through the end of the year, it's kind of a celebration. So even late fall and winter, while it may represent the end of a year, there's a lot to celebrate and a lot to experience in that period of time. So, in Thanksgiving or in November, we have Thanksgiving, national holiday if you're in the United States. Has been since 1863 when Abraham Lincoln declared it to be a national holiday. And it's a time when we get together with family and we have food and just kind of the warmth of gathering. In some ways, Thanksgiving's kind of like Christmas, only without all the presents and the decorations. And then we turn right around and we do it again with all of the Christmas accoutrements as well. So when we think about this late fall season of life, say the 60s and the 70s, a lot of people are still in good health, especially these days when we tend to have longer lifespans and expectations of what our lives can be. So if you are one of those, if you're in that season or looking ahead to that season, you're enjoying good health, be grateful for that and experience the joys of living in a season of life where you're able to experience travel and family, retirement, friends, uh, hobbies, activities, whatever it is that keeps you active, while still at the same time preparing for the winter to come. And as I'll point out when we get to the session on winter, winter isn't all bad, even though we might think that's the dark and cold time of the year. It brings some of that, but it also has some benefits, and we'll talk about that as well. So if you're in that autumn season of life, or wherever you are in the seasons of life, be aware of where you're at, where you have been, the life you've lived to that point, and live into it, enjoy it, while at the same time looking ahead and engaging in whatever preparations you need to do in order to thrive in the season to come. All right, so thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next one.